am going to record this meeting as well. All right. Good morning. Good morning again. I am going to put a link over in the chat. Would love for you to join so we can collaborate today. We're going to be talking about from pushback to partnership and how we support our teachers to support their students, or maybe you are a classroom teacher, you might get some pushback from your students as well. But there's a lot of different pushback that we experience as coaches or as leaders. And some of those different pushbacks that we get is we are unable to sometimes move forward, right? Because we have teachers that are resistant to trying new different things. And so again, I would love for you to join the link. I'm going to share it again over in the chat as you guys are joining. You might see it a couple different times. If you're watching the recording, you can join us. And here is the link where you're able to see the recording and you are able to interact. This will be available after today as well. If you have questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. I think I've had the opportunity to either email you virtually and meet you virtually or in person, but my name is Stephanie and I am a teaching and learning coordinator here at CAMI. And so if you need anything, I am here to help and support you with anything that you might need. Thanks, Margie, for helping out our friend in the chat. So again, we are going to get started. And the first thing I would love to know is, what is your goal for today's session? So you're going to go to page number 3 and you're going to grab the text box. And when you grab that text box, I want to know what are some goals that you have for today's session? Again, we're talking about that pushback. Maybe your goal is to get your teachers to do something, right? Maybe your goal is to co-teach with more teachers this year. Maybe your goal is to present maybe a conference or to present with your colleagues, right? So think about what are some goals that you have? What made you sign up for a session that was called Pushback, right? What made you want to attend to be like, okay, how am I going to overcome? Oh, thank you, hanging out with Stephanie. I love that. But what is your goal, right? What is your goal to kind of think about that pushback, right? Oh, I love this. You go getting your teachers to be more reflective in their practices. Yeah, there is such a busy time when we are working with our educators that there's not much time to be reflective. And so I love that goal of how you really want to focus on how can we add that reflection into those coaching practices? How can we support our students? What is it that we can do, right? Yeah, to learn. I love that goal right there too. Help teachers that are negative, right? Through some of the new requirements. There's a lot of requirements that are being pushed at either the state level or maybe they're being pushed at your district level. And yeah, there's a lot of resistance, right? Again, keep thinking about what is it? Yeah, try the new fonts. I love that, Belsa. There are a ton of new fonts in Cami. That's a great point. So I'm seeing some really cool colors and fonts. Yeah, let's get rid of that Arial font. Yeah, so maybe increase usage of Cami or any digital app in your district. Maybe that's your goal. Your goal is to get to have teachers use, oh yes, I will add the links. Thank you, Nicole. Getting your teachers to use Cami or any digital platform, right? Your goal is to increase that usage, but you're getting pushback. They're like, I don't have time for this. Or maybe you're that teacher, or the coach. This was me in my district. I offered all the optional PD. I offered all the support. And then teachers would tell me, Stephanie, we've never had training on that. Anyone else have that resistance? And you're just like, are you kidding me? I've offered everything to you, including micro learning videos, email supports, my time, professional learning sessions. And of course, they had to be optional, right? Because some of us work in a district that we have unions. So yeah, thank you guys so much for sharing. I know this page is getting a little bit messy, so feel free to do what Margie did. Margie used the comment tool and Margie left a text comment. Now with Cami, we have a lot of resources built in that you don't have to just leave a text comment. You can actually leave a voice or even a video comment to really go over your ideas and your goal for this session. So now what I want you to do is we're going to hop down to number 4. And I want you to consider, okay? Consider a time that you were resistant to something. Okay, what were your reasons? Why did you resist it? So I'm going to provide an example first, but if you already know, go ahead and start typing or leave an audio comment. So I don't know if anybody in here has Eureka Math, but we had Eureka Math in my old district. And let me tell you, the rollout of that was awful. I was a teacher at the time. I wasn't an instructional coach, so I didn't have to roll it out, thank goodness. And the reason I was so resistant to it is because we had our curriculum director come to us and they were like, yeah, there's time limits on the script. Like it was an actual script, this curriculum. And they were like, there are time limits on here, and you better make sure that you are meeting these time limits. And they were like, they bought us all timers. And so this was again a time where I was starting to feel that resistance. I was very angry with being told what was best for my students, right? From a district office level, I was like, do you know? Do you know, right? Another resistance. Yeah, I don't have time. I don't have
Going
time to
back,
learn this.
there
I
is a
don't
ton of
I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that, right? Oh, Canvas instead of Google Classroom. Yes, yes, teachers want to use a certain tool, but the district is providing resources or training or something on this, right? Maybe your teachers are resisting or you were resisting UDL. So yeah, loving seeing these told to support silent reading. Oh, I would love to hear more about that. Oh, images now. Oh, we got some images coming over. Yeah, thank you. I'm so glad. AT, let's see who it is. Yes, that you also felt that script. Yeah, that was my resistant. When I saw the script and was told I had to follow it, it was really, really overwhelming. Yeah, the tools overload. There are so many tools out there, right? If you see a tool or a suggestion or a goal, I would love for you to go up to the add media, grab a sticker. You can pick one of these stickers and just kind of say like, hey, this is me too. Me too. I am with you. I have experienced this resistant as well. So again, use all of the tools that you have available in Cami. Grab that ad media. Find someone else where you're like, I have that me too opinion about that. Or, yeah, I didn't know the why we were doing it. There are so many times where I've seen teachers being told that they have to do something and we don't provide the why. We don't support the reason behind the why they need to do this. Oh, not inclusive of our EL students. Yeah. Yeah, if you have a union, those contractual obligations, lots of resistance around that, right? Oh, the clip chart for behavior. Yeah. Okay, whoever put this egg timer, that's how I was feeling when my administrator was like, "Okay, Stephanie, here's the egg timer. You got to use that when you're teaching your math curriculum." And I'm like, "I teach students with different disabilities. They don't learn on a certain time, right?" Yeah, that was me. So thank you for bringing up that trauma. So now what I just want to share with you guys is the cognitive process research on change. So there is a lot of research that can support us when it comes to change and supporting all of our different learners, okay? And so when it comes to change, there's this cognitive process, and again, there's research on it. And so first thing is we all have differences. And so when we're going through resistance or we're going through change, we all have a different way of how we're going to respond based on our personality. Okay, so if you know anything about me, I love personality tests. And there are just a lot of information when it comes to personality tests and our styles of how we react to change. And you're going to see that with some of your teachers, right? And so when I'm working with different teachers, working with different people, I might really, really struggle to kind of help those different needs. Also, processing and reacting to information. When we send out that information, someone gave a good point up here. We didn't provide the why. There was no why provided in why we need this change. That can really affect your processing and your reaction to some of those informations that you really want your teachers to do. And you're like, well, this is best practice. And they're just like, I no, like I don't have time for this, or whatever reason. We haven't provided the why. The next one is factors that increase stress, right? There's these things that appear when we are going through change that really do stress us out. And so that can be really helpful to know that everybody kind of experiences change a little bit different, okay? So now what I want you to think about is here is the first strategy. Strategy one, we talked about the differences. Okay, so we're talking about the differences in people. And so when it comes to the differences, we have some people that need coaches like champions. Okay. And so if you're a leader, again, you can just replace the word coach, coach with leader, but coach like a champion. What that means is this person gets overwhelmed when you share multiple different strategies with them. Okay, so me, I'm the oversharer. This person gets really overwhelmed by me because they need me to be their champion, right? They're going to get overwhelmed if I'm like, try this, try that. And I'm like, do all these things. This person's going to be like, no, I'm not doing it. And so sometimes when we have different resources, let's use Cami, for example, there's a lot of tools built in where this teacher might be like, just give me one thing to try. Don't give me the whole, there's ClassView, there's the tools, there's update work. Just give me one thing to try. This next person is the useful resource. Okay, they don't need the theory. They're like, this is me. They don't need the theory. They're going to be like, okay, show me what works. Give me a lesson that I can do tomorrow. This person is just kind of your go-getter. They're excited to try different things. There's also kind of looking for things that they might need help with. And they're always just kind of, if it works, that teacher is going to come back for more. That teacher is always going to just come back for more. They're the ones that are looking for you as a resource where they're like, oh, here's this. Here's how I can do that, right? Coach like an expert. I failed with these teachers. Okay. I love research, but I'm not really great at presenting it, or wasn't really great at presenting it, right? And so this was me. I wouldn't start with the theory, the research, or the data, but this teacher needs the coach or the leader to be an expert. And so what that means is when you're trying to do a new activity. So maybe, for example, I am trying to use ClassView. And I might tell them, well, you can see every. Oh, I think I cut out, didn't I? I was having some Wi-Fi issues. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you, Melissa. Welcome back. Awesome. Okay. So this one, the coach like an expert, they really need the research. They need to know that another teacher down the hall tried it first and it worked for their students. They're not going to be the first ones to just try that new idea you saw on social media or wherever. Then you have the coach like a champion. Also, let me make sure. Yep, we are still recording. Okay. The champ, or this one should be coach like a mentor. So with this one, they just want to collaborate. They want to talk with you. They want to know, are you listening to them? They don't want you to tell them answers. They want to be that collaborative thought partner that thinks alongside of you. So what I want you to do is I want you to think, which one best describes you? Which one would you prefer as a coach? And what I would love for you to do is come in here. If you feel comfortable, take a picture and add your little picture onto the screen. So I'm the useful resource. I'm like, give me all the resource. I want to try something. I want to see how it works. If you don't feel comfortable taking a picture, just use the sticker tool. You can pick any of the stickers and add it right onto the doc and add your ideas. Yeah, Charles, let me share the document in the chat again. And I know Margie was being super helpful too. She has a Microsoft link. So thank you, Margie. But again, go ahead and either add your little face if you're like me, you're the one that wants all of the resources. Are you the one that just needs one new idea to try? Are you the expert that you need the research before you try something, right? Are you the one that wants to collaborate? You're the one that wants to have a conversation before. So again, use the sticker tool, use whatever tool, honestly. But again, I love seeing your guys' smiling faces. Oh, I love this, Brandy. Love, it's like you're thinking. You are for sure the expert, Brandy. And I love collaborating with you because you always push me to think about that research. So again, I appreciate you, Brandy. Uh-oh, Gina, I wonder what one you're gonna be. I feel like Gina's gonna be the useful resource or the mentor. Yeah, I could see that. And I'm just gonna, let's see here. Lance, I know you're on the call, but I just want to make sure you're participating. Yep, I figured you weren't, Lance. So we are waiting for your response. I'm allowed to pick on Lance. So what's great, yeah, Lance, let's go. So what's great about Cami is if you're working as a coach, you can use Cami just like we're using today in a professional learning with your teachers. And what I just did to know Lance was not collaborating is I came up here to my collaborators and I'm able to see that I have 41 people on this document. And I clicked this button and I turned everybody off. And then I found Lance's name. Hopefully he didn't leave us. And I still see Lance has not added which one he is. So again, I think Lance is a coach, like a mentor. He likes to talk a lot. He'll call you all the time, right? So again, I'm able to click on and see how people are. Yeah, thanks, Belsa. You can also check the annotation summary too. So again, if I want to see how my teachers are responding, like I just saw that Sarah, you just left a beautiful photo. I can click on Sarah and I'm able to see her response. My preferred way to be coached, just not how I prefer to coach. Oh, okay, I want to hear more about that, right? Yeah, Melissa. So up here at the top is my collaborators. And so if I click up here, I can see who is online. And then I can turn off everybody and I can go to Melissa. See her in ABC order. There you are, Melissa. And I can see how you responded. Sometimes it takes a moment, or you might be like Lance and you didn't participate, Melissa. I don't know. Which it looks like it did load. Yep, I can see up here that you've got things. So we're still waiting for you, I think. A teacher walked in. Gotcha. Oh, she's on your Microsoft copy as well. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I want you to look at this because we have a lot of teachers or a lot of coaches on this call, and we have useful resource and coach like a mentor. Okay, a couple experts, right? We got our Brandy and let's see here, EL. Who's EL? And Aaron. Okay. So again, we've got, we don't have a whole lot of people that just want to try one idea. And so what we have here is a lot of useful resources, right? And mentors. How do you think these people feel when I'm oversharing? Okay, so I just want you guys to take a moment, reflect on that. Use the comment tool. You can either type, text, video. And yeah, I'm going to show the annotation figure in a minute. But I want you to just reflect. How do you think other people might feel if you're oversharing? Oh, there we go, Melissa. If you're oversharing, how might other people feel about that? Mike, I think you're going to be the mentor. I don't know though. I'm excited to see how you respond. So again, think about your coaching, and what I would love to know as well is, I think it was Greta, I would love to know, you just said like you don't coach like you prefer. So I want to know more about that. So again, I want you to just take a moment, reflect, add a comment, think about it, right? If I'm this person and I'm coaching an expert, how does that person feel if I'm oversharing? Yeah, and Michelle, no worries. If you're getting pulled, I totally understand. It's crazy. This is recorded. So everything will be available after today's session, or hop back on if you get pulled back. Oh, am I still frozen?
You're
You
good
couldn't hear me?
now?
Okay. Sorry, guys. I think it's like the weather, but I'm not along the East Coast, but it's like really gross out. Yeah, I got to work on it too, Nicole. And if you see somebody else, you can write back to them. You can just respond to their thread. If it's getting overwhelming, you can go up here to this little eyeball and you can hide off page comments. And then these dots are over here and you can see where they responded with these little dots. And then you can respond as you hover over. So again, that's
Steph, I think something that we do as teachers, we will always differentiate for students. Like we go into our classroom and probably within a month when we were all teachers, we could tell you like, oh, I have Stephanie and she learns this way, and I have Leslie and she learns this way. But I think when we transition to that like higher level where we're now teaching teachers, we forget that step. We just think, oh yeah, all teachers should learn the same. And we kind of forget that step. So I love that you're showing this because it's reminding me that for some people, just throwing things at them, like you need to try the annotation summary and you need to try the comments and the text box, it can be really, really overwhelming. So it's so funny that as teachers, we will differentiate at the drop of a hat for students, but somehow we forget that step when we're teaching our teachers.
That is, can you hear me? This is Greta.
Yes, Greta.
That is exactly what I was referring to when I said that, because I find that, of course, I became a coach after I had worked in the district a while. So I knew most all of the teachers to start with. And that was a leg up. But I think if I were going to a place where I was totally new, I would spend quite a bit of time just going and observing people, even in a faculty meeting or um, when they were planning or whatever, to try to learn as much about them as I could, because I have several people on my staff that I coach that would, I mean, they'll if you push too hard, they'll cry on you. Like you don't want that. And so I would never try to do something whole group with those people. I'd go sit down with them by themselves and say, you tell me how I can help you, instead of me telling them how I can help them. And it just depends. But I think that's very important to differentiate to your teachers. And really, you need to try to do that to your parents too, if you're trying to coach parents in an open house setting or when they're coming in for a parent night. So I think that's a really good thing to try to remember, no matter who you're trying to teach.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing, Belsa and Greta. And everyone in the chat, you're like, oh my gosh, hiding off comments? What? I didn't know I could do that. Yeah, so again, if you're like, what are they talking about? Again, you go up to the little eyeball, hide off page comments, and then you can hide your comments or you can have them show. It's up to you. But it can get really, really cluttered if you have them on.
Oh, I loved mine when we had it during remote summer. Um, how come they don't use it? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I also wanted to show the annotation summary real quick. It's up here where the paper is, and it says annotation summary. And so again, I can see who has added what collaborations along with when those annotations were added. So again, it's up here with the little paper, and then I can see who has said what and when and what page number. Okay, so now we're gonna brainstorm together and then we're gonna go into a breakout room. Okay, but first I want to kind of model what we're gonna do together. So that way we kind of can really focus in our breakout room to have those discussions of how we can support these teachers that we're working with. So I want you to think of this scenario. You have a teacher who is seeking advice on how to improve student engagement using Kami. Okay, so you have this teacher who is asking for advice on using Kami. How would you coach this said teacher? Because there are so many of us on this call, over 51, we are going to use the comment tool and we're going to either use the text, audio, or video. Okay, so again, try not to use the text box because it might get a little messy. But I want you to, again, think about this scenario. A teacher is seeking advice on how to improve student engagement using Kami. How are you going to coach like a champion? How would you coach this teacher if they're a useful resource? They're looking for that useful resource. How are you going to coach like an expert? And how are you going to coach like a mentor? Okay, so again, I'm just going to let us kind of think about that and add your ideas onto this page. Do all of them, Jordan. Yeah, try to think. Get out. Start with your easiest one, right? My easiest one is the useful resource where I'm going to give them a lesson plan idea and I'm going to say, okay, go, right? That's the easiest one for me. I'm the oversharer. So again, that is going to for sure be me. So you're just going to grab again the comment tool, the text box, and then just paste your idea on there. So I might suggest like Kami's voice commenting feature, right? I'm giving them a lesson that's ready to go. They also want the resources. So maybe this teacher might want to get the video tutorial, right? They love all the things. They're going to be the teachers that watch all the things. Some of the teachers, you send them a video and they won't watch it. Yeah, the recording will be shared. Thanks for joining, Sherry. It's good to see you. Oh, Gina, you added a video. If I'm mentoring, I might say, let's have a brainstorm session, right? This teacher doesn't want you to suggest ideas. This teacher wants you to brainstorm with them. They want to kind of come up with the idea, but they want someone to talk it through with them. Yep, how are we going to show that teacher the research, right? The research that's behind this. So I might talk about how choice can really help improve your students' engagement. And again, this teacher just wants the one thing that when we're championing them, right? They just want one idea. Love this. Model co-teach lessons. Yes. That can be really helpful for a lot of these different personalities when we're able to go in and model or co-teach with them. Love, love, love that idea, Sarah. So again, that champion, they're going to want direct, they're going to want your confidence boosting suggestions to really help them. The mentor, they need you to be that collaborator. They want you to kind of share and collaborate, talk out, ask questions. Yeah, that's a great idea too. The expert, they want to really have you use that research that's behind it, the data. How has it worked in another classroom? What does the research say? Is it well, is it well created or is this something you just want me to try, right? They want to make sure. Yeah, Hattie's effect sizes. The resource, again, they want you to really think about those practical, ready to go. They're ready to implement strategies that are going to empower our teachers immediately. Oh, love this idea. The Kami library. Yeah, showing them the options in the Kami library. So if you have not seen the Kami library, you can either click on the extension or you can go up here to kami.app. And once you do that, about mid-page, you can go down here to trending templates. And if you click browse templates, there are over 2,000 resources in the Kami library where your teachers can search by subject, type, or grade level, even by keyword. So if you just want to see yours, Erin, you can come up here to collaborators and then you can hide all. And then you can just find your name and click you on. Just like that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go into breakout rooms. And we're going to have 5 different rooms. So whatever room number you are is the group that you're going to be a part of. And I want you to have a conversation with your group about this scenario that we have up here. So just like we did up here, how might we support a teacher who they're not really asking for support, but they are talking about how students often complete Kami assignments individually with not much interaction. How can we support this teacher? Again, they're not asking for help. Maybe you had a walk-in and you walked into their classroom and you noticed that oftentimes they're on Kami assignments, but there's just not much interaction with the teacher, with peers. Maybe they're just kind of using the text box. How can we raise that level of that learning? Okay, so again, I want you to really think about this scenario. You're going to be with a group, and I want you to talk about what you would do with your different teachers to really support them to move towards more interaction, to using maybe class view. So again, I want you to kind of brainstorm with your group. Any questions before we go into those breakout rooms? Feel free to come off mute or you can ask in the chat. Okay, I don't see any, so I'm going to go ahead and send you to your rooms. Again, brainstorm, you can use any of the tools to add to your group work. Whatever room number you're in is the number of the slide. So group 1, group 2. So whatever room you are goes with the group number. Okay, here we go.
Things that you guys have seen that you think would be very useful to get to go from like, how do we show you without really being overbearing or pushy or aggressive? Because it dawned on me like right as we're doing that, that while we differentiate for students, sometimes we forget to do that for teachers. So what are some of the things that you guys would do to kind of help out teachers that are saying, no, thank you?
We're actually right now we're not using Cami, so we're kind of like piloting it for the tech coaches. So we're kind of like learning how to use it in order to help teachers use it in the future.
I love that. So instead of like rolling,
So couldn't they, I'm thinking about how possibly the templates could be
How's it
used.
going in group 2? Oh,
Oh, we were talking. Hey, Stephanie. Okay.
okay, now I can hear, I think.
Hey, how you doing?
How are you?
So I was thinking for the champion, when they talk about, because oftentimes teachers do think that they have to use every single feature that's with an application. So maybe have it where the students, especially if it's a one-to-one situation, that they could, as they're working on the assignment, they don't necessarily have to be at their own computers. It could be some type of group project or something, um, using one of the templates. But then, of course, the teacher shared it, but they can work on it together. It doesn't mean everybody has to be at their own computer. They could be there together in doing that. So that's what I'm thinking. And using some of the resources that they have in the classroom, especially if it's a science experiment or something like that. That's what I'm thinking.
I was
help kind of get them into interacting with each other when they have that structure built in beforehand. Because yeah, otherwise, like when I've introduced Nearpod, if we don't give them any restrictions, the comments just blow up and gets out of control. The stickers get out of control. So I think adding structure might help from the teacher end and helping the students interact a little bit more.
Absolutely. And I love what you said about like how it gets overwhelming sometimes, where with the Cami, you can control what comments can be used by or what tools can be used by the students. That way it doesn't necessarily need to be as overwhelming. And something that Stephanie often mentions, and it's totally true, that with Flipgrid or Jamboard, those, or even just sharing slides, students delete things and they delete pages, they add things that they shouldn't be adding. And one student cannot delete another student's work, which I think is really. Thank you.
So I guess if I'm a useful resource, I would see it that I would be could possibly show students some of the stuff that I maybe have created in Cami to use with class, just to show them some different ideas. Like you had said previously, when you look at the report, to look at the tools, but then as I walk around the class with my students, I can have a small group and just kind of show them some various tools in Cami that I use or I've used to create items, so they can have the visual to see what it looks like.
Okay, I think we're going back. Coach as a useful resource. I think until we go back to Stephanie, coach as a useful resource would be, what would you think would be in that box? Coach as a useful resource for teachers.
keep going back to the library. The Cami library is fantastic.
Oh,
The search for interactive, yeah, there's interactive types of lessons, and it makes, they're like, oh, here we go. I've got somewhere to start. But
exactly.
then it's learning all the little tools, because even just today, and I thought I was pretty good with Cami, I'm shocked at the interactive ability. Like I'm very excited about this.
Oh, yes. We've made sure that throughout the years, we've listened to what teachers have said and coaches what they want in Cami. And our engineers was like, okay, this school year, we have to make it happen, guys. And this is all from what they needed in the classroom to make their lives a whole lot easier in the interim. And the library saves them a ton of time in the classroom as well, giving them a starting point of, okay, we're going to work on this assignment. At least I'll have this template ready and we can move on from that. So that's one good thing as well. Yeah, we always want to have these PD sessions because many times districts and schools they only think of us as a PDF annotator, and we're like we're so much more. We have districts that are calling us and saying, "Listen, we had Jamboard, we need a replacement," and some of them have gone with Cami. In that instance, I'm looking for a digital, platform that can offer those same, results in the classroom with the teachers and students. I could have sworn that everybody would love what I loved. And then I would look at the faces and I'm like, I don't think everybody is as passionate as I am. So I think always just remembering that we all don't have the same mentality. Even though we all coach or we all teach the same subject, we're not all going to be as passionate about it. So, oh, you guys are coming up with some brilliant stuff. Steph, this group has been absolutely amazing. So one of the things that Heidi said is they're actually rolling it out just to their coaches, not the students.
Which I
So they're letting the
yeah.
teachers, yeah, they're letting the teachers completely absorb it first, learn it first, and then they roll it out. So I thought that idea was genius. Lizzie reminded us that we need to vocally let teachers know you don't have to use Cami for everything. Like just use it for one thing, kind of like your story from yesterday. Like we're just going to do one thing today. So I absolutely love that idea. And then Sarah said, "Hey, we're doing Tech Tuesdays and she's going to use Cami. So if we're going to show the coaches how to use Cami, I'm going to teach it in Cami myself." And I was telling her that we used to use Google Slides to present Cami, which was a little bit weird until one day it just was like, maybe we should be using Cami to present Cami. You are on mute, honey. We're going to leave our breakout rooms.
All the rooms, but oh my gosh, amazing.
Mhm.
Slowly coming back. I can see that some conversations are probably still happening. So sorry about that because I always hate it when I'm in a breakout room and there's really great conversations happening. Okay, so I think we're all back here. And some of the things as I was going from room to room is I was hearing from Erin, like there's just so many tools, right? And so one thing that I heard Ali share was like if you're doing a collaborative document, students can't move or delete each other's annotations when they're using Cami, right? And so that might be a benefit to one of these teachers that are like, oh, they have got control issues, right? And students are trying to delete each other's work. Another conversation that I heard in Belsa's room, I think it was Heidi, their teachers are only trying out Cami right now, right? And so with their teachers, they're getting comfortable using Cami. So hopefully that they feel comfortable going to that next step and using it with their students. Another person was sharing how they're going to add, and use Cami to model professional learning or in their Tech Tuesdays. Like instead of sharing out this, I'm going to use the tech tool to support, right? So again, it can be really, really helpful to just kind of brainstorm. Does anyone want to share real quick some of those things that your group talked about?
Hey, Steph, this is Alicia. One of the things in our group, group 5 that we discussed is that I spoke with someone there that basically didn't have Cami as a replacement for Jamboard, and now they're going to add Cami as a replacement. So that's huge, because many schools and districts have been reaching out to Cami to
And I
see,
love
hey,
reading again, like on here, the things that you've added, even though you only got to two, that's completely fine. The conversations that I were hearing were really beneficial. The Cami library kept coming up and up and up, and if different rooms that as I was jumping in and out. So again, if you need support with any of this, we are here to really, really help you. Oh, can I not hear? I don't think I can hear you guys. I feel really, really bad.
Steph, can you hear us?
Okay, Alicia, I can hear now. Go.
Okay. I had a great conversation with the coaches in group 5. One of the things that basically they were stating that they didn't have Cami as a Jamboard replacement. And after hearing that schools and districts are reaching out to us looking for ways, because I believe October 1st, they'll only be able to view and not, interact with that tech tool. So now that Cami will now be something that they'll be thinking about to add to the list as a Jamboard replacement. So that was huge. And yeah, that was great.
Awesome. Thank you. And sorry I cut you off. I didn't mean to. Gina, were you going to speak up? I see you're off mute. And I saw someone
Oh,
else off mute too.
no, that's just me being golden girlish here in the Midwest.
Okay. Okay. I mean, we would love to hear your thoughts.
Oh, well, I'll share since
Okay.
I accidentally put them in the Zoom chat. Um, so one thought was there's another platform that I use. So when I use Seesaw and I go in to support teachers and there's like a plethora of tools, I have cue cards and then I take them and I not only do I show the kids digitally, I have them laminated. So like first you're gonna do this, next you're gonna do this. Um, so that's one way to scaffold. And then the other idea, I think this is the one where, oh, look at the Cami monthly reports. I did this with Leslie yesterday. And we looked at what tools they're really successful with, teachers and students. So you know that they've got that. Then you kind of look for, well, your look fors are where could we even make it more engaging? So always tying it back to data and saying, you know what, this is what celebrating those wins that you're doing really well as students and teachers. And then looking forward, what tools could we use to even make our work even more engaging?
Thank you. Yeah, those reports are fantastic. I love when I am able to hop on your guys' calls. So if anyone's interested in that, reach out to your teacher success or teaching and learning coordinator for more support. And we are more than happy to support you and how we can create a plan. And we'll talk a little bit more about that too. Okay, so there are our groups. So now I want you to just reflect. What do you notice about your personal coaching style after today's kind of call, right? What did you learn about yourself today? So what have been those consequences, right? And then now what? Study the opposite. What's your next step to support that teacher that you might not have a great relationship with, or that group of teachers that you're just struggling to reach? Think about what your next step is. So again, you're going to use that comment tool, use the text box. So something that I noticed is I'm an oversharer. So my consequences with that is sometimes I'm not reaching all of my teachers. Right? They might not want to work with me. And I think my next step is I need to slow down, right? I need to slow down and meet the teacher where they are. And I loved one of the ideas from earlier about co-teaching. So again, reflect. What do you notice right now about your coaching style? What has been that consequence? And think about your opposite. How are you going to support that person, right? That might be a little bit different than you.
Steph, I think something that I would love to share with the group is a lot of time we see the word consequences and we automatically like shift to the negative. And we're not trying to like be like, oh no, you need to change. But I think for me, just like as my friend Oprah would say, having that aha moment of crap, I need to differentiate for teachers. Because I don't know. I think we just kind of fall into a mentality of we're all teachers, we all think the same. We're all coaches, we all think the same. We all feel the same. And it's not that we want to like, oh, you are not doing your job well, or it's just, hey, how can we better help you? How, like, what other ideas? Because sometimes as coaches, as trainers, as leaders, we're gonna hit that wall. And then someone's gonna come in like one of the ideas that I got from Heidi, who was part of my group, of just rolling it out to the coaches first before you roll it out to the students, that to me was absolutely genius because it never occurred to me that we are teaching the teachers and then they have to go down the road and teach the students. I just do not know for the life of me why that thought did not occur in my head. But hearing Heidi, I was like, oh my God, as my friend Oprah says, uh-huh. So I love that. So that's what we kind of want you guys to be take out of this, just to have those like revelations of having your mind blown and expanded and being like, oh my God, I am amongst geniuses here.
Well, can I take a play on words off of that? Kind of like,
Yes, go right ahead, honey.
you remember Oprah's buddy, Maya Angelou? Was it Maya Angelou or was it the other lady? When you know better, you do better. And then always remembering another quote like that I learned through Oprah, and I think it was
That's
Maya
Maya
Angelou,
Angelou for sure.
is people always remember how they might not remember what you taught them, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And I have to remember that because I get very passionate about educational technology and inclusion, and I have to remember that I can't scare people away. Like I get very excited.
I love that. Yes. And thank you guys for being sharing. This is some hard things that you are sharing out with a group of people that you might not even know. But there's no judgment, which brings us to strategy number 2. Sometimes, right, we start with judgment and we go to curiosity, right? Sometimes we think that we are being more dictating. How do we empower our teachers? How do we empower them to use some of these strategies that they're doing? How do we go from resistance to that collaboration piece? So again, if you have any thoughts, feel free to add them here. But I do want to cover the last strategy, which is number 3, and evidence. Evidence is huge. Okay. And Gina kind of gave this away already, where she was talking about how she meets with Leslie. And so when she meets with Leslie, they're looking over these reports and she's able to take that data and start to show teachers, look how much you've grown, right? And so again, if you need that thought partner, your teaching and learning coordinator is there to support you. And so again, just kind of think about how can I use this evidence to keep inspiring teachers that they're making an impact? How can I keep showing them that, oh my gosh, your students using Kami questions scored 5 out of 5, but on Monday, the students scored 3 out of 5. That is motivating for our teachers. So again, think about how you're able to use that evidence to really support your teachers to continue to help them wanting to grow. And they're excited to use whatever strategy or instructional strategy or Kami in their classroom because they're seeing the impact that it has within them. It's going to keep them motivated. So again, step 1 is to just reflect. We spent a lot of time on step 1 where we were reflecting on, communicating on their terms. Step number 2 was we really want to move from that judger to that collaborative problem solver. Step number 3, we want to now use that evidence to inspire, right? So we want to use those personalities to think, how are we going to creatively problem solve? How are we going to work with our teachers to how are we now going to use that evidence? Now I want you to reflect. Again, you can use the comment tool, the text box, Monday, what is that one thing? It can be small that you're going to do tomorrow. I'm going to start small. What is that someday? What is that big goal that you're going to strive for? So again, think big. What is that big goal? Okay, what do you want to try by the end of the year? So again, you can use the comment tool, you can use the text box, but again, what is that one thing that you can do tomorrow or on Monday? And what's that big thing that you're hoping to achieve by the end of the year? What is it that you really, really want to see in yourself when you're working with your teachers and they're resisting maybe a tech tool or they're resisting something? So again, just think and reflect on that Monday and that someday goal. I love that. Monday, I'm going to send teachers a survey, right? I'm going to get that needs survey. Where are my teachers at? Conversations, supporting them. Another Google form, right? We're going to see where are our staffs at? What do they need training on? How can I support them? I love the Sunday goal, model lessons, right? We're going to model those lessons for our teachers. Maybe in our professional learning, we're going to use the tools. We're going to have them be the students. We're not going to just lecture at them. We're going to use the tools to really support and help. Again, if you agree, the person that just left the heart, you just reminded me, you can go to add media and you can leave a little sticker if you're like, oh my gosh, me too, right? Like, yes. And just feel free to add that sticker so other people know, like, yes, this is something I want to do too. And while you're reflecting, I just want to talk about something. If you love Cami, you can be a hero. Our applications have just came out. And so we have right here our Cami Hero program. This is more for teachers who love Cami. I mean, any educator who loves Cami. That is that application form. But there is also a new program being added. It's called the Cami Hero Trainer. And so if you're interested in becoming a Cami Hero Trainer, this is the form for you. So I see a lot of the people in this group being part of both of those communities. So I would love for you to take a moment and to apply for both of those. Again, there's two different forms. There's the Cami Hero, and then there is also over here the Cami Trainer. So the Cami Trainer is brand new. We've had our Cami Hero around for a little bit. But again, it's reopening applications. Would love to have you. If you need any support with the application, feel free to reach out to your teaching and learning coordinator.
A professional development thing that I'm joining today. Okay. I'll see you later.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, and then down here, again, we can support you. And I put a lot of different ways because I'm that oversharer, right? And I know some of you are like, oh my gosh, Stephanie, this has been a lot. So again, if you are that person that needs a mentor, happy to brainstorm with you. My calendar is always open to collaborate with you. So feel free to send me an email and I can send you my calendar, whatever you need. But if you want to share the Cami magic, make sure you find the sharing guide. That can be really helpful. We have free unlimited professional learning here at Cami as well. We are making plans with districts. So if that's something you're interested in as well, happy to brainstorm what the next 6 months looks like for your district after you get that data from your teachers. Again, we're here to support you with even student resources. If you need help and teachers need that lesson plan of if you give a student a Cami or if you need Tech Tuesday resources, we have a ton of different ways that we can support you to meet your style. So again, that was me being my oversharer. So anybody that voted here, which is a lot of you, I hope I made your heart a little bit happy. But if you are these other styles, again, happy to hop on a call, collaborate with you. Happy to talk about research and how we can bring that together. Happy to just share one thing and then we come back again in a couple months or a couple weeks to share one more thing. So again, we are here to support you in whatever you need. My contact information is down here. If you need anything, please reach out. I loved learning with you today. There is a feedback survey that I would love for you to fill out. So I'm going to put that in the chat. It can also be found up here at the top. You'll get a certificate of attendance. And on this survey, the session will not be here, but you're going to put your name, your email, and then we will just pick, let's just pick the first one. Or let's do I didn't know Cami could do that. We'll do that one. And then my name is Stephanie, and there are 4 questions for you to fill out. Thank you guys for joining. And I look forward to supporting you in whatever capacity you guys might need. If you're watching the recording, please reach out if you need anything as well. Have a great day, everyone.